This video is my review of this palette. As you can see in the title, I am gonna do some swatches and I do a demo and then just like my overall opinion of it. So if you want to see that, then keep watching.
I didn't know we were in the information society.
So my first impression of the palette is that it's huge. It's bigger than my head. What? I know it's 42 shades, but it's still a lot bigger than I expected. And then comes to opening the palette, which is quite a job. There you go. The pans are quite large as well. There's a lot of shadow in here. It says there are 54 grams, which is 1.9 ounces for you Americans and your ounces. And like I said this in my last video, but the packaging is very cheap. Obviously the packaging has nothing to do with the shades, but if you want like a luxury palette, first of all, maybe spend a little bit more money. This was like $26 or something. And second of all, I mean, whatever. I am wearing a lot of the shades on my lids right now. You could just do this look with like 2 or 4 shades, but I think I used like 8 or 9 maybe. Just for the purpose of using a lot of colors, just to show that there aren't really any fallout on any of them. I did my face makeup before doing my eyes, which I never do, but as you can see, like, there's no fallout on my cheeks. That's amazing. They're also very pigmented. It might not look like they're very pigmented when you see me applying them, but that's just because I tap very lightly into the actual pan. The reason why I tap my brush so lightly into the pan is just because I like to build my color up rather than just slapping a bunch on there and then blending forever. They are easy to blend, so you could do that, but I just prefer to just slowly build it up. I have tried somewhere between 25 and 30 of the shades, and all of them so far have been great. Obviously, I still need to try like 12 or 17 more. I haven't tried the dark blue one or the black one, and this one I have tried on my lids and that I really like that, but other than that I haven't used a lot of the dark shades. I have tried like all the pink shades of them, that's why I'm wearing them. One thing though is I feel like these two, why do you need 2 of them? Like, I get this is more warm toned and this is more cool toned, but also these two are very similar as well. So I feel like you could have left out one of them. This is more orangey and this is more like a yellow shade, but still. And these two as well. This is very orange obviously, but this one looks a lot like it. Something I'm kind of missing from the palette is like a more bright red shade, because this is like a more orangey red and this is more like purple tones, but there isn't like a bright red, which I think if you had like chosen just one of these or one of those, you could easily fit it in here, as well as like a bright green shade, because there are a lot of foresty shades here, which I like, don't get me wrong. Again, if you just hadn't had all these similar colors, then you could definitely fit it in there. Yeah, I tried this purple out on my lids, even though it looks very bright, it's actually very dark, so I feel like you could have done like a more bright purple one, or like light purple. I know there's like a lilac color over here, but that's like pastel. But even though I would like those three colors in there, I love the palette. This is like the softest color I've ever touched. The others aren't as soft, but that one's just like, this is insane. It's really satisfying to touch. Regarding the swatches, the first couple of them didn't look as good, but that's one because I didn't swirl my finger around in the pan as much as the others, but you can see in the clips how much I'm like swirling my finger around in there. Swirl? Is that the word? I don't think so. And the skin on my arm is very dry. I used this micellar water with oil in to remove the eyeshadow from my fingers and like from my arm. So I think after the first couple of swatches, the eyeshadow stuck a little bit better to my fingers and to my arm. Before that, my skin was so dry that I think that might be why the first couple of swatches didn't show up properly. Just keep that in mind. It's not the prettiest setup, but that way you could both see how much like I dipped my finger in them and that I just swiped once on my wrist, so I didn't double swatch. I would rarely. No, my tongue is just... I just wanted to say that like swatches aren't everything. all in all, I love this palette. It blends easily, which is always a plus. It's very pigmented. It's also easy to build up if you don't want it to be super pigmented at first. And there isn't any fallout. The only time I experienced some fallout was when I used this dark green color as an eyeliner in my last video. Honestly, I just think it was because of the brush I was using, and I was afraid it would make my dry skin look horrible, but as you can see, it sits very nicely on the skin, and it doesn't, I mean, obviously nobody has pink eyelids, but when I looked in my skin in the mirror, it still looks like skin texture, which I'm very impressed by, because I feel like most eyeshadows just make the skin on my eyelids look very dry or kind of cakey sometimes, but this doesn't at all. Like, I am wearing a lot of layers right now, and you can't really tell aside from the color, obviously, but it's a great palette. I really recommend it if you want some good matte shades. I think that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked my review of the palette, and as always, I hope to see you in my next video, so bye!
That's a difficult question because I didn't know we were in the information society.